Hey everyone, so before we get into the video itself, I just want to clear up a quick thing about the title of this video and the fact that now this is being split up into 3 parts rather than 2 parts. The reason is, I'm not psychic and I didn't realise just how much insanity was going to be in this section of the video. Originally, this section of the video I was hoping would just be maybe 10-20 minutes long in terms of the editing and putting everything together, but instead it's over an hour because so much has happened. We are now about to face the Endgame crisis, the end of the cycle has occurred, so much happens. I think it would be an absolute shame if I condensed it too much and we miss out on so much of this run, because this run, in my opinion, is one of the most unique and weird runs I have ever done in Stellaris, and I have done a lot of playthroughs. So I really do hope you enjoyed the video. The next part will be hopefully out by the end of the week or next week. They do take a very long time to put together. This video itself took something like 18 hours just to get the footage together and then 2 or 3 hours to edit down. It does take a while, so bear that in mind. Thank you for your patience and I hope you enjoyed the video. And of course, a like and comment help because these videos are terrible for the channel, but I do love them something fierce. So thank you for watching. And now, on to the regular greetings. Love them something fierce. I can talk normally like a human. Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Stellaris with me, Alathrix, and of course, welcome back to the end of the cycle. In today's video, we are going to be trying our best to survive and perhaps even beat the Endgame crisis. Now, honestly, there is a very real chance we're not going to get to that point, and we are going to be obliterated either by the collective consciousness of our former populations, or by the Endgame crisis itself. Now, there is a very real chance that this thing will not be the threat I was trying to make it up to be, because I've started to read up on this a little bit more, and it turns out, firstly, it doesn't go after us first. It tends to prefer other empires before it goes after exile, but also, it tends not to be anywhere near as powerful as a true endgame crisis, because you can get this very early, and its main thing is that it set us back to essentially the start of the game. Nope, tell a lie, it set us back past that because we only have 1 habitat. Normally, we would start off with 3. Of course, our populations are better and we have some repeatable sciences done, but we are essentially starting the game in the year 2345. However, we do have some tricks which might make us a bit more powerful a bit quicker, and I do have an idea which is rather evil, which could get us a boost in power fairly quickly. So then let's get to work restoring some of our power. First of all, currently we are not controlling the Federation. Of course we're not. We currently have a population of 8. That is our entire population. It would be wrong if such a small amount of populations would control such a large amount. Well, too bad. I know how we can make this work. And it's by doing this. If I can find it, there we are. Succession power. So this decides who is currently in charge. I think, and so does everyone else, that technology is the way to go here. But what's that? I have the highest tech, yet once again, despite having only 8 population, we are now in charge of the Federation, and although everyone hates us, it doesn't matter. And the reason is, if you try and leave one of these federations, this lovely, special, brutal type of federation, every other federation member by default will declare war on you. You have to declare war on the federation in order to leave. And every federation member does not want to risk war with every other federation member. They all hate me, but they're not going to join together to hate me that much. I'm playing them against each other. Once again, we're not the good guys here. I am very open about that. Now, the next thing that we can do, and this is where it gets a bit more, oh, you evil fella. We have here the conglomerate. This is a very powerful empire. In fact, it's the ones who are just in charge. I'm going to be kicking them from the Federation. Now, why would I do that? It's because I am going to be rushing into building a new Colossus. Once we have the Colossus, we will once again have the total war ability, which means we can go to war and claim systems as we go. We don't have to make claims or anything else, we just grab everything we attack. Our Federation fleet will be powerful enough that we can easily take out the conglomerate. And once we have the Titan, not the Titan, the Colossus, we will be able to take everything from them. Yeah, we're being a bit evil. We're going to use their ships against them to take over everything they have. So we're going to kick you from Federation. Goodbye. And the reason why I'm doing that so early is because right now we are going to have a truce. That's only going to be fairly brief though. With that truce, We have 10 years to build up our Colossus, and then we are going to war with them. Now, if I can get all of my fleets over here, that'd be great. You know what? Let's start clearing this area. So if you could all go to there and then wait for me, that'd be great. Then we start taking out these. Now, these shouldn't be too powerful. They're about as strong as the psionic avatar you can summon in anyway using Transcendence. So I think they're like 10k fleet power, and they're just all shields. Oh, looks like this fella's gonna eat a habitat. Oh, there go all my ambitions. Now, the reason why my economy doesn't look too bad right now is purely because we have trade agreements. So what I'm going to do is use all that resource to start upgrading our star holds. In fact, which one is this? Yeah, that's one I want to upgrade, not this one, which is a bit more in danger. Keep upgrading it until it's a citadel, so we can once again... Ooh, hello. Make ourselves the Colossus.
Construction.
Oh, yeah, the habitat has vanished. Now, I have also been told that the AI on this thing can be a little bit weird. I am stammering all over the place today. Well, for now, it's just chilling. Again, it wasn't really the biggest threat about this. The reason why it's such a threat, though, again, is because it's reset us. 10,000 months for this. Yep, there's no point in hiring a scientist right now, since we're just not going to get anywhere with it, and it'll cost us energy. What I need to do is start making some construction vessels, so that I can start grabbing some more systems. Yep, great. Okay, construction vessels, please. All Federation fleets are heading there. Fantastic. Yep, our former allies are now being isolated a bit. Oh no, they're not. They now have a Federation association again. Still means we can go to war, right? Once the truce... Yeah, excellent. As soon as the truce fails, we're going to go to war with them. So hopefully by then, we'll have ourselves a citadel. Maybe. Our economy isn't exactly doing well, I'll say that much. It's weird having two systems, and that's it, after having such a sprawling empire. Now, I am recording this a few days after the last one, which is like one day after I made the video public. So I've had a bit of a think how I'm going to do this, and my god, the amount of things I could have done to make this easier on ourselves is just insane. But I didn't do any of them. And you're just sitting there. Well, aren't you anticlimactic? Still, a difficult run is a difficult run, and that's the important thing. So one annoying thing is that a lot of our Federation ships are not particularly good. Yeah, I definitely didn't make that.
Situation log updated.
Okay, we need a science vessel now, please. But yeah, it seems like the last leader has actually messed up some of the designs. That's fine. I mean, they're not terrible, it's just... I wouldn't have a disruptor paired with the autocannons, that's all. Well, let's have the psionic shields. So that's cool.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
Okay, let's, shall we send the lithoids? No, I'd much rather have a faster population growth. Let's send in you, I suppose. Anyone else with 100% habitability outside of the robots? You're uplifted and you're irradiated. That's not particularly good. Okay, then, let's send in you for the 100% habitability. Let's get more species growing. Also sending a colony ship over here to grab this habitat. Soon, once we have our fleet here, we can start grabbing back all this space as well. What I'm really after, of course, are the megastructures. The science nexus would be nice. It would give us 300 research. This has all the gas and everything else. Yeah, we do want all this back. And there's the end of the cycle, just chilling. Seems that eating a habitat has gave it indigestion.
Construction complete.
The Federation fleet is now here to start dealing with these fellows, and apparently, it's not all that difficult.
Log updated.
Okay, let's start cleaning all this up, shall we? Let's also grab that so we can figure out what's there. You can go back. Do this. Then get yourself there so we can start reclaiming all this territory. Going to be focusing almost solely on alloy production. We are slowly getting a foothold again. Now, fleets are strong enough that they can start dealing with enemies over here, so let's start clearing this space. And let's have a look into the Shroud, because, you know, that always goes so well for us. Oh, that would be amazing if we get this. Yes! Plus 30% influence. Fantastic. We needed influence. And now we've got it also. Shipyard's already ready to be upgraded into citadels. Now, here's the thing. Right now, we thankfully have, if we can find it, this over here, which is giving us plus 100% starbase upgrade speed. That's why I've got there so quickly. Really wish I had Will to Power currently up and running. That would be amazing, but yeah, didn't really time that all that well. Again, there's so many things I would have done differently if I was a bit more prepared. Just gonna sell everything we have. And then buy up some alloys. Let's upgrade this one. So once that's done, we can start building the Colossus yards, which I think is very expensive as well. Yep, 750. After that, we can build the Colossus itself, which is incredibly expensive. So like I said before, we're going to focus completely on alloys. Wait, didn't you have that before?
Vessels destroyed.
Did you break it? Ha! You keep accepting status and then breaking it. Okay, that's happening right now. Got it. It is now 2,350, which means the endgame crisis can now spawn in after this point. So, what's the best case scenario right now? The best case scenario is that the enemy do not spawn in for the next 20 or so years, which can happen, in fact it has happened quite a lot in the past, and in that time we will take the conglomerate. After taking the conglomerate, it means we'll have a lot of worlds and a decent population again. If we go over to their home world, which I can't find, there it is. For instance, they have 105 population here. It's actually a pretty decent world. So if we can grab all their worlds, we're actually in an okay position in terms of our economy. We might be able to then start pushing research again, though most likely completely on alloys. After that, if we get very lucky, we'll either have the Scourge or the Unbidden. Actually, I don't really see many synths, so we probably won't get the contingency. If we do get the contingency, I honestly think we're doomed. But if we have the Scourge or the Unbidden, if it spawns near us, we're still probably doomed. But if it spawns over here near the state, or by the enemies over here, I honestly think we have an okay chance to fight back. So a few circumstances there. Yeah, we do need it to spawn late, and we need it to spawn away from here. That's happened before. It's happened a lot of times before, where it spawned on the other side of the galaxy and late. Just hopefully that's what's going to happen today. And the end of the cycle seems to be broke. Not much I can do about that, sadly. The Federation fleet is very quickly clearing away the Sonic entities. I am tempted just to throw it into the end of the cycle to see what happens. But first, I want to clear all of these fellas. So let's clear all the smaller entities. Then we'll deal with the big fella. Minerals, please. These are once part of the state, but no longer. Show the Federation one thing. The second you don't fall in line, the second you are not part of us, you are against us. And we have cannons. For the glory of the Federation. If only I were using missiles and things which would actually be good against this target. A lot of anti-shield stuff at least. And yes, this is the end of the cycle, the main entity. Oh my god, it's huge. I thought it was way smaller than that. Okay. Fire the cannons! Well, at least our cruisers do have strike craft, so they are going to go through the shield. Okay, we're already seeing some damage being dealt to the shield. We're Wow, we're losing corvettes. Every one of those shots. Okay, the strike craft have now reached their target. Really should have been paying attention to these things since there are the new things in action. Do I like this? Extra food, extra habitability, less amenities, all good things, less consumer goods, less diplomatic weight from economy. Yep, I actually quite like that, so you know what, sure. Did we just beat the end of the cycle? Okay. So that's the end of the cycle dealt with. That wouldn't have even damaged our allies, so yeah. We just must regain our strength now. Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic. In the future, I think I will try this again, the end of the cycle. I'll also ask the devs and ask a few people around to see if I can get a way of making it work better. And what I'll probably do is specifically go after it, try to figure out a way of forcing it to happen. I don't know if there is a way, but I'll certainly look into it. And then make it as strong as it can be, because it does depend on a few factors. How many it's already eaten? How many it's already eaten? Oh god, I can't talk today. So as I was saying, apparently its strength is all about how many people it absorbs to begin with, but also how many it absorbs as it takes out other worlds. That's what I've been told, at least. I will be looking more into it in the future. Hopefully that's not too disappointing for everyone, because the real difficulty anyway is still the endgame crisis, which is still heading towards us. Oh, the Citadel's now finished. Probably been finished for a short while there, but I was focusing on other things. So what we need now is the Colossus. Assembly yards, there we go. As soon as that's done, we can build the Colossus itself. Wow. I had a lot of habitats here, didn't I? That is so satisfying watching those pop.
Colonization in progress.
So here's an event I've never seen before, which I'm definitely going to go with because, well, it's something new. On our new world, we've randomly had this appear. An improbable geological feature has emerged, strange and reflective crystal deposits line its curved walls, followed by this, a brand new project. Interesting. The minerals filter its wavelengths and reflect a beam that is capable of transforming ordinary silicates into a new superconductive alloy, though only ever during daylight. Interesting. Given that this process essentially involves bouncing high levels of radiation around an enclosed space, some scientists have already come out in protest. A different group of excited researchers offers a counter-argument, stressing that this phenomenon could revolutionize the way we refine precious metals. Either way, developing the technique further would be costly. Well, yeah, definitely going with that. And that gives us a transmuter job, which currently isn't being worked.
Construction complete.
Now it is. Upkeep is food into alloys, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get more stuff from that as we continue on. Empire, don't you dare try and steal some of my stuff. Might need to jump and start grabbing some of the important things then. You're going to be able to get to that pretty quickly. I don't really mind losing this area, just need all this. So, let's... In fact, you can just grab, and then you can teleport here and start taking these. What we'll do is just start building the star bases and just ignoring some of the other stuff. Okay, the lab is yielding verifiable results. Although their process can only transmute a small amount of rock into alloy, researchers have high hopes for a large-scale operation. And request further. Oh dear. It needs research. Well, it's better to be researching this in 93 months than what we're currently researching, which is in Well, it was something like 10,000 months. Come on, hurry up and grab that so it'll be cheaper for us to grab this.
Construction.
Thank you. Gonna rush ahead a little bit here, which is a bit silly, it's a bit more expensive, but yeah, we really do want that science nexus back as soon as possible. We've almost cleared all of the end of the cycle stuff now. Come on, Shroud, give us something good. Okay, good luck, Petals of Olive. Ha! Petals of Olive is now the chosen one! Wonderful. And it's an admiral. Look at that. How are you not psychic? Okay, so normally psychic gives you plus 10% weapon damage and plus 15% evasion. Being the chosen one, not only is Petals of Olive here immortal, they also give plus 30% evasion and plus 20% ship weapon damage. Now, eventually there's a chance we're going to have the opportunity to make them our new leader, but basically make them the immortal God Emperor. But we're not going to do that. We're going to probably keep them as an admiral because that is really, really, really powerful. They're also just a good admiral anyway. Only level 2, sadly, but they have unyielding and gale speed, so even more evasion, more sublight speed, more ship weapon damage, more hull points. That is a truly, truly fantastic admiral now. I mean, before it was already good, but now it's better. And better is better, as you can imagine, by being better.
Construction complete.
Okay, good, we're about to get back the Science Nexus. And we do have the Mega Shipyard, which we can soon begin repairing. 61k, 30k. Okay, so the conglomerate is strong, but not strong enough to deal with the entire Federation fleet, which is still growing in power, by the way. Okay, let's grab those. Then move on over and reclaim the precursor homeworld. Okay, we got back most of the stuff we wanted, which is good. Now, we could release another part of our Federation, but I feel like this will be more than enough space. We can then start doing other things, like focusing on Unity to get back our ambitions. We can start building more habitats again. There's a lot we can do. Ooh, hello. Okay, the Colossus yards are finished. Oh, the Colossus is expensive. Need another 5,000 alloys. We might be able to trade some of our space with one of our Federation members in order to get some of that stuff. Yeah, like we could... No. There's not many systems we actually have we could trade away safely. Oh, once we have this, we could trade this with the Empire. I'm just trying to think what we have to barter for some alloys or at least some energy. So sadly, he doesn't really care all that much about the system. I mean, it's something at least, but yeah. Still need to do it for now. We just need those alloys. There we go. Most of our other neighbours, after checking, don't really have alloys to spare, is the problem. Okay, got 1,000 to go. Really want this to be started, though, as soon as possible. Also need some dark matter, so lots of stuff we need. Full spectrum alchemy. The next phase of our experimental production facility has come online. The Blue Lotus Crystalline Transmutation Facility, that's a mouthful, is now busy converting unprecedented amounts of these base materials into useful alloys. A glorious breakthrough. There we go. Yeah, the upkeep is specifically food, more so than the food they're just consuming themselves. Either way, once we get some more fellows here, it means we can get some more nice free alloy jobs, which is exactly what we want. And hopefully there'll be more events later. Now I'm making 53 alloys. In the early game, that'll be good. Right now, though, that is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, alchemy is dangerous, apparently. Who would have thought? It's not like any anime would ever showcase something like this. So, yeah, we have the Lotus eats itself. A catastrophic failure has occurred at the experimental facility on the planet. Operatives say we may never know what specifically caused the failure in containment, but the result is a runaway transmutation of the equipment, its housing, and a vast chunk of the surrounding landscape, all into the same superconductive alloy. A rich seam of this material is all that remains. Yep, so, that is that. Oh, hello. Who's devouring who now? Oh, okay. That makes sense. So, let's go over and have a look-see. So, did we just lose all our populations? Because it's saying we have no populations on this planet. Okay, we have 2, but I can't see where they are. Game. What just happened? Well, we're getting alloys passively, which is nice, I guess. Apparently it's being ran by ghosts. Well, here's hoping this doesn't come back to bite me in the butt. Trading favours now for alloys. Come on, hurry up and accept it. Thank you. So with that, we can start the construction of our Colossus. No, we can't because we need a dark matter. Thankfully, I can afford that. So after that, we can start the construction of our Colossus, as I was saying. There we are. It's going to take a while. Actually, a fair while. That's kind of annoying. But until then, there's no real point of going to war. I've went ahead and I've activated fleet supremacy, since right now our Empire Sprawl is so much lower than our admin cap. So it's absolutely fine, and this will increase our ship building speed by 10%, which means, of course, we get the Colossus 10% faster. Next up, I'm probably going to save it for this. This will cost 200, but will increase our alloy output by 10% at the cost of 1 energy per person working that. So it's going to cost a fair bit of energy, but it should also up our alloy production quite significantly, especially once we go to war and start claiming some worlds. Come on, Colossus, hurry up. The immortal entity known as Petals of Olive, which always makes me laugh, previously Raxar, but now something far more, has attracted a large and devout following in the Raxar state, worshipped by many as a supreme deity. A call has gone out to officially crown the Admiral as the permanent ruler of our great empire. So this is a really big change. So this would change us to fanatic authoritarian spiritualist rather than xenophile, which might actually be better right now for us. We'll have Imperial cult, aristocratic elite, and philosopher king, which means we'll no longer have owned populations. Overall, I do think this is worse for us, but it is so difficult to resist this because it is such a cool thing to happen in our empire. The problem is, I really don't like aristocratic elite. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of Philosopher King either. We can always change those later, though. Yeah, maybe we'll do this now, because it's free. And then we'll shift it back into a hybrid of the two later. I mean, I've got to do this. Glory to the God Emperor. Chosen One, governing ethics extraction plus 20%, monthly influence plus 1. We're then obviously just normal psychic as well, which is plus 0.5 influence. So yeah, getting an extra influence per month is pretty important. Loads of governing ethics extraction as well. That's not too bad. Ship build cost is reduced. And you have extra lifespan. Not particularly all that great when you're already immortal. So now we have some nobles. What did the nobles do since they updated? Hello, noble. What do you do these days? You produce unity, and you produce... Oh, stability now. Yeah, the nobles are a bit better than they used to be. That's not the worst. Also, you instantly just had a child. Like, 2 seconds. Saint Trunk of Olive. Okay. Sure. Okay, let's see what else we have. So we have Philosopher King. This will increase the ruler level cap of our governors and our leader. I don't care about that. I'll change that later as well. Imperial Cult, +1 to our edict capacity, -25% on that edict cost. Actually, that's pretty nice. As we increase the Empire and start getting more influence anyway, so we can spend it on this. That'll save us a lot of Empire sprawl. Okay, that one I actually quite like. That one I'm probably going to keep. Oh yeah, we can build temples now. Temples are a fantastic build. And actually, you can spam them now as well. You can have multiple on the same planet, whereas before you can only have one. Ooh, noble estates. So, the nobles increase stability by 5. That's actually a really big deal. On planets of high population, okay, you know, aristocratic elite, didn't used to like it. Now, it's better. It kind of want your child to be the leader, honestly. But, you know, for now and forever, you are a leader. Oh, petals of olive. Okay, once I have the energy, I'll go into the Shroud. Once more into the Shroud we go. Don't care about any of that, not worth the risk. Buying every population I can from the market, but sadly that's not all that many. That's curious. It said, when I accepted this, that it would trend towards fanatic authoritarian, but instead it's lost some of the authoritarian rather than the xenophile. And that's where the spiritualists came in. So now we are spiritualist, xenophile, authoritarian. I thought it'd be fanatic, authoritarian, spiritualist. Okay. So, I'm not 100% sure what civics I'm going with. Right now, this is likely what I'm going with. So, really, really stable worlds. Our population being a lot cheaper and more efficient. Especially with the bonus output. I think this is the way to go, but I do like Imperial Cult more than I thought I would because of the whole Empire Sprawl thing. Though I think this is worth it. Overall, I do think this is the best way to go. But sadly, it will take a while. So to sum up, was accepting this the right thing? No. Was it the fun thing? Yes. The Zealots have finally declared war on us. Now, thankfully, our fleet power is actually a lot higher because it combines all the fleet power of all of our empires and, of course, the Federation fleet. So I think we get the full +50 in terms of status quo. Yes, we do. So we're likely just going to lose some space over here for this empire. I really don't care about that, I've got to be honest. Just being brutal right now, caring more about the endgame crisis. We'll lose a bit of territory. They'll eventually have war exhaustion. We'll set off status quo. It'll be the end. Though saying that, we're not actually the main attacker or defender right now. Eventually we may have to intervene, but right now we're actually trapped because the board has been closed from the conglomerate, so we're just waiting until we go to war with them. I'm still going ahead of my original plan. I don't mind losing some space over here because it's fine if the Zealots are actually a bit more powerful because they will help out with the endgame crisis. Almost there now, so what I'm doing is using up every last bit of resource I have just to build a small corvette fleet. The reason is, with that corvette fleet we can take out all of these stations here. So as the main fleet devastates their main territory, the side fleet will go over here and take that. Now we currently have no ground forces, I've just thought, but that's fine. We can make sonics and we can make xenomorphs, which is better. Well, the xenomorphs aren't affected by morale damage at all, although they do, wow, yeah, 10 times the collateral damage. But the xenomorph does more morale damage on average, but the sonic does more actual damage. I think the sonic's probably better since we do want to keep that mostly, you know, functioning. The worlds, don't want them to be completely obliterated. We now have the Colossus, and we have gone to war. Now, one thing I've done very quickly is I've set my default rights to full citizenship rather than assimilation. The reason is, although I do want to assimilate everyone eventually, this would just cause our economy to collapse. We only have 46 population at the moment. We could potentially go into the 1,000+ range, and if all of those are being assimilated at the same time, I don't think we could actually manage that. So, all new populations are now just going to have full citizenship. Okay, main fleet is just going to collect everything along the way and go this way. And then I have a small corvette fleet being created, which is going to go this way, claim all this territory, and start going down here, so that we can get this planet soon enough. What I need to do as well is start building gateways, because they are a trade empire, which means, yep, loads of trade value, and it's a big distance between there and our capital. That's a lot of piracy. Ooh. Cool. Free populations are free populations. You're always welcome here. All are welcome within the Raxar state.
Colonization in progress.
We actually got a new tech. Oh, I forgot about you. Hello there, Divine Enforcer. A psionic projector shines divine truth upon the world to make true believers out of all who are capable of belief and annihilating those who are not. Essentially, it destroys all mechs on the planet and turns all living biological species into spiritualists. Well, one thing I forget though, is does this instantly give the planet to you? Or do you still have to then conquer the planet? I think you still have to conquer the planet, but I honestly can't remember. It's been a very long time since I've used that. Well, I feel sorry for our allies, because apparently the conglomerate's gone right after those and it's just ignoring me as I completely take over all their space. Okay, you two merge, then you can take out this. Oh, why did I think that was so much stronger than it is? Okay, you could probably take that out earlier, but now you're here, you may as well merge. There you go, go on, deal with that. Just destroying everything in its path. Got a construction vessel repairing all the damage. It's not really damage dealt, it's just our former ally just wasn't using any of these systems at all, so I'm having to build all the stations myself. I mean, that's just rude. Preparing to make a believer out of the planet. Okay then. Let's see how this works. I'm hoping it'll give us the planet, but I'm almost certain that's not how this works. Well, if there weren't any machines before, there's about to be none. Oh, there isn't any there anyway. They're building them, but don't actually have any yet. Okay. And that is remarkably shiny.
Colonization in progress.
Behold the light of the Emperor. Because nothing says good guys like a giant ship shooting a laser into a planet and forcing its population to believe exactly everything you believe, and showing them your point of view. In no way have we got some kind of chaos entity from the Shroud and just stuffed it into one of our species. That, of course, did not happen. We do not have a Chaos God as God Emperor.
Technology secured.
Oh, that's fun. But yeah, it didn't give us the planet as I expected. That's fine. We'll just have to conquer it. Now, what makes this Colossus interesting is that you can actually use that on your own worlds. As soon as we take over this, which should be in just a second. Well done to our Psychers.
Has seized the planet.
See, we can in fact do that again. And again. And again. And you can essentially just always force your population to believe as the government does. Right, didn't I set default rights to... Oh, you're a new species. Okay, that's gonna potentially be a problem then. Okay, so any new species, I'm just gonna pop onto full citizenship. And by new species, I mean ones we've already got. Unless I've done that wrong. Species... Default rights, full citizenship... Yeah. But it said I only had one of those. Either way, I'll just make sure that it's full citizenship. I think I just messed up that. Yeah, okay. Now I've solved it. Just to make sure our economy doesn't go absolutely insane. Because that would be very, very bad. Okay, the war is going well. We have now claimed this area over here, which is a lot of very powerful worlds, which I'm really happy to see. Soon they'll be converted into something a bit more useful for me. But there is something else. I really, really wish I hadn't got the side jump drives, because that massively increases the chance of the Unbidden. The reason why I don't want the Unbidden is because, unlike the Scourge and the Contingency, they can destroy planets without landing on them. At least I believe the other two need to land on the planet to completely destroy it. I might be wrong there, but they definitely have landing forces. And the reason why that's annoying is because in our terrible position right now, one tactic we could use, even with our terrible economy and weak fleet, is we could build fortress worlds. The Unbidden will bombard a planet. Once it reaches 100% devastation, the planet is destroyed, it becomes a barren world, they never land on the planet. Now, of course, having the fortresses causes them to still have the FDL inhibitor until the planet takes 50% or more devastation, so it still halts them for a while, and you can have the planetary shields. It's still a good idea to have them somewhere, but it's not quite the ultimate measure that it could be. Saying that, I've never actually went with the Fortress World idea, because I don't really know, I just never have. Probably should have done it more often, but I didn't. So that is something to consider. I'm really hoping it's the Scourge, but the odds are against us. Having this gateway here means our trade can flow freely. That's really nice. An extra 719 trade value, which should be applied at the end of the month. There we go. Our energy is finally in the positive. Wow, that's a good planet as well. We're getting a lot of very good planets at the moment from our former allies. It'll take a while before they're fully up and running, because right now, since they're recently conquered, all of the populations have a negative buff on their happiness. A debuff, in fact. Yeah, minus 20% happiness, so stability is going to be pretty poor. But as soon as we can, I will be changing up our government again. I think I've decided we're going to be removing Philosopher King, removing Imperial Cult, although I actually like Imperial Cult more than I thought I would. We're going to be keeping Aristocratic Elite. I quite like it, honestly. The Nobles giving the additional stability. You can have up to 2 Nobles, it seems, per planet. Maybe there's a way to get a third, but it seems like 2 is the current cap. Perhaps that's just because I have smaller worlds. So that's plus 10 stability, which is insane. Combine that with Police State and the Guilds, we're going to have seriously productive worlds. And then soon, once we have enough unity, I can then activate Will to Power again, and we're going to have loads and loads and loads and loads of habitats. So as long as the enemy doesn't spawn right on top of us, even if it is the Unbidden, I honestly think we do have a chance. I say that, and I almost sound confident. Note, I am not. Not in the slightest, really. But, yeah, it's something, anyway. It's something. Okay, so deal with that, then we can start dealing with these over here. All of this is going to end up under the state's control, the other state, that is. We definitely have enough force to destroy what they have left. Okay. Taking a bit longer than expected, honestly. They were pretty strong. Thankfully, our allies have taken most of the fight for us. That's interesting. Okay, so the capital complex gives you 2 nobles. So you get 2 nobles from that, and then 1 from the building, which means you'll have 3 nobles, so that's plus 15% stability. That is really nice. Is that worth it overall in comparison to some of the others? Because remember, you are losing a job for this. It's not like you're getting it for free. You're losing the administrators, which are giving amenities to the planet, along with Unity. So it's not really like these are free jobs out of nowhere, but that seems pretty good, honestly. Again, better than I thought, at least. I'm not going to go out and say, well, this is the best thing ever, but it does seem better than I expected. Now, I am, of course, also aware that if we wanted our leader to be our leader, we could have just waited until the old leader died and then spent influence to get them into this current position. Or, in fact, we could have changed it into a monarchy. No, because then the old leader would have been there already. There were ways, essentially, of getting God, Emperor, Petals of Olive into office, but I just think this is way more fun. And we're also now Spiritualist, which is actually pretty nice, since we do need that unity. In fact, Will to Power is now active, which is fantastic. That's going to drastically increase how fast we get everything sorted. So I finally declared a status quo with the conglomerates. We've got all the worlds we wanted to get, which is lovely. And they instantly went with the zealots. If I claimed any of these systems, it would have instantly went to our allies, and it was far too expensive to put down claims, and they've already got claims. So, yeah, that just wouldn't have really happened anyway. So, there's no point in continuing to fight and trying to defend our borders, so there we are. Again, I don't mind the Zealots being strong at the cost of the state and the consensus, so we just continue as we are. I'm tempted to kick out a smaller empire like these over here. The Enlightened Kingdom, and then we could go to war with those later on. They are a very small empire in comparison to the last. It would be a lot easier to grab their worlds. In fact, the same goes for this, the Interstellar. Not too sure. The consensus is actually worrying me because they are getting close in technological power to us. Now, thankfully, they have to be 25% stronger than us, so even if they do manage to eclipse us, they need to really eclipse us. So, for a long time, we are safe. We can always swap the laws around later. Either way, we will remain in power. We have a gateway here now as well, so all of our main sections of the Empire are now connected up, so trade value can flow freely. And I'm now saving up influence, because very soon we can change our government back to something a bit stronger. So yeah, going to remove that, keep aristocratic elite. Aristocratic? What the earth? I see an opportunity to start claiming some systems as my own. Right now, the reason why I'm not going against the Zealots is because all this area over here is claimed. Oh, wow. The consensus has claimed this entire thing. Yeah, we just wouldn't gain anything from it. Our allies are strong-ish, but keeping them safe is not... It's horrible to say, but outside of the Federation fleet and the bonuses we're getting here, keeping them safe is not our priority at all. We could send in the Federation fleet. We could do that. I would likely win, but honestly, I want the Federation fleet ready at 100% for when the Endgame crisis eventually spawns in. We've been lucky so far. It's been over 25 years since they could have spawned in. But still. At any time, they could just attack us. Here we are, changing up our government finally. We'll have the guilds back and the state, which means +5 stability and plus 10% resource from owned populations. 40% of the population will now be owned. Which means now we are a theocratic monarchy. Now I need to make sure is that, nope, yep, I want as many as possible in indentured servitude. That should be the default. Sadly, I didn't even have access to this before because owned populations weren't a thing. So I think I might have to go, yeah, through every single species and change this to that. Otherwise, we'll end up with loads of workers who simply don't have a job. It's not just that, though. It's the fact we want the owned populations in specialist roles because they get the bonus to being an owned population. Essentially, additional resources from whatever job they're in. That means extra research if they are... That's fine. If they are a researcher, additional alloys, if they are a metallurgist, you get the idea. We get more of the stuff which is actually important. Yeah, look at our economy now. We have more energy, more minerals, more food, more everything because of that change. And our stability is beautiful. The question is, should I focus on tech at all? We're already at 5k. We could start exploding quite a lot with research if we start going down that route, but we also need a lot of alloys. We just don't have the fleets right now. I think we should do it a little bit mixed. I do think we should have some research stations being created. At the same time, though, I also think we should have a heavy focus on foundry stations. So maybe a... maybe like a 2-to-1 split, something like that. All I know is the auto-select is awful. This is a factory station. Oh, actually, no, this one is a factory station. Wow, Yeah, that one actually makes sense. The one time it makes sense is when I'm trying to say how bad it is. There we go. Factory station. We have research labs and an alloy foundry. That is totally a factory station, which is giving absolutely no bonuses. So just for reference, if we have it correct, it means that these jobs cost 20% less. So 20% less minerals are being used up. Now, sadly, when we first swapped over all the species to having owned populations, a lot of them are going to be just in the worker class, because that's where they're put normally before we changed it around. But as new populations grow, they will be placed, I think it is pretty much randomly. So hopefully we will get some more specialists. Let's have this one as research, sure. Specialising your world is a very important thing, and let's see if we can make sure that happens. Okay, I think most of the regular worlds are going to become just regular resource worlds. So right now, our ships are becoming more and more anti-Scourge. The reason is, although it's more likely the Unbidden are going to spawn, if the Scourge does spawn and we kill the scouts, we can stop the bulk of the endgame crisis. Right there and then, we have victory. It's boring, I know it's cheesy, but considering the position we're in right now, it's something we have to consider doing, just because victory for this weird run. If the Unbidden arrive, we're going to have to wait around for a while anyway. There's no chance we're going to be strong enough, so we are going to have to upgrade the ships and change them. We have plenty of time for that, but the Scourge, if we rush, we might be able to obliterate them instantly. I don't know why they have the arc emitter, and yeah, I really should swap out the shields. It's a bit more general purpose right now. I think I will go full anti-Scourge, so full armor, and then full anti-armor, anti-hull. Versus the Scourge, I do believe the arc emitter is not as good as the pure anti-armor weapon. If we take a look, the Tachyon Lance does 100% extra armor damage and 50% extra hull damage, whereas the arc emitter obviously just ignores armor altogether, but the problem is I have no other large weapons currently which will ignore the armor, and the Scourge have a lot of hull. So even if I could, it's not worth it because of the lack of damage. And the lack of range. Things like the neutron launchers have way more DPS, I think like 3 times the DPS, and that's not even including the armor bonus and hull bonus in comparison to Cloud Lightning. So Cloud Lightning is only worth it if the enemy's armor is 3 times more than their hull, or something similar to that. Which isn't the case with the Scourge. And Cloud Lightning is fairly short range. Oh, Mighty Shroud. Oh, please work, please work, please work. Why? We are now a maximum strength federation, giving us stronger together plus 25% damage versus the endgame crisis. We have unity equal to 10% of the size of the Federation fleet, which means essentially everyone's getting 60 extra unity a month. It's okay. And then we have this one, which is interesting. Every member transfers 10% of their diplomatic weight to the president. That should make me fairly powerful, considering the strongest in terms of diplomatic weight is one of our Federation members. Interesting. Now, annoyingly, we are under a lot of sanctions right now, which are going to fade away, but yeah, they are very annoying. Very annoying indeed. Research speed minus 5%, diplomatic fee plus, sorry, market fee plus 10%. It's pretty darn nasty. That will go away, though, as I am building up my personal fleet, and once I have over 50% of my navy capacity met, then we are no longer being sanctioned. Finally replaced our scientists with good scientists. Before, I had really bad ones because I just didn't have enough energy to keep on re-rolling. Now, I have decent scientists, and they will start to level up. This is taking ages to get back, as powerful as we were, and I just can't see a way to skip ahead. Ooh, well done to our allies taking back some of that space. Our allies aren't that weak, so they are constantly taking back little bits of space. I just really wish the status quo would kick in. Could go to war with this empire just to force it into the Federation. And our allies would do all the work, so I'll probably do that afterwards. There's a machine uprising in the consensus. Well done, fellas. Well done. Yep, the difference between the owned populations and the regular is quite extreme, and that is before we even go down the route of adding the processing facility. The owned populations here giving 11.6 physics, whereas the regular only 9.4. Just as an example, and of course they don't cost any consumer goods themselves, the only upkeep here is just from the actual job they're currently doing, which of course is research. Well, I can't believe it, we have got... I can't overestimate how lucky this is. This is luck beyond luck right now. We have the Scourge. So the reason why this is so unlikely is because we have jump drives. Not just jump drives, side jump drives. If you unlock jump drives, I'm not sure if you need to use them or not, but essentially unlocking them increases the odds of the unbidden. If you have side jump drives, that further increases the chance of the unbidden. We got side jump drives almost on day one of having Transcendence, and we've been using them. So even if you have to use them, we're using them in almost all of our ships, except for the Federation fleet now, but before then we had them, so, and we are using them on everything else, like our construction vehicles. The Scourge, on the other hand, are not affected by anything like that. They essentially become more likely the longer it takes for the endgame crisis to begin after they're allowed to spawn. So they're the fallback crisis. Essentially, every time it has a chance of spawning, I'm not sure how that works. Is it like every year, or every 10 years, or perhaps every 5 years? I can't quite remember. I don't like looking up these things too much. But essentially, every time there's a chance of them spawning, this increases. So eventually, they're just going to spawn. It basically stops you from having games where it's hundreds of years after the endgame crisis, you have no crisis. Wow. Yeah,
Situation log updated.
very pleased with that. What's the best case scenario then? Two things. The best case scenarios will either be spawning really close to us and us rushing them and obliterating them, or them spawning really far away, giving us plenty of time to figure out where we're going to put down fortress planets and fortress habitats and figuring out our game plan. Remember, we essentially lost everything about 40 years ago. We have been starting fresh from there, except, of course, given a Federation fleet. So not really starting fresh, but we had everything wiped out outside of 8 populations. We're not in a good place still. It may seem like we're doing really well, we're kind of not. We're back to 6k research, which means we're getting some stuff done, but not much. We have 500 plus alloy production, that's okay. I'm not even bothering to build the mega shipyard at the moment, because we just can't really use it to its fullest potential. Okay, I'm actually really happy right now, if you can't tell. So, either all the way over here, or all the way here is the two best. The worst would be somewhere like this, where it's close enough that it's going to get to us, but not so close that we can really rush and destroy them. Saying that, I don't know how strong they are in times 25. Perhaps the scouts are too strong for us, so we'll see. Now, one thing I am concerned about is this. The Scourge have Strikecraft, they use a lot of Strikecraft, and Strikecraft on times 25 difficulty are one of the scariest things I've ever seen. When we fought the Contingency, when we fought the End Core, its Strikecraft essentially removed 5 million fleet power worth of battleships in moments, and it's because they have such a high fire rate, and with that times 25 damage modifier, they just crush everything. It just removes everything from the game. So, I am going to be mixing in these battleships with our fleets, which have flak, and they have Strikecraft of their own. Now, thankfully, the Strikecraft don't have a health bonus, so we're going to have loads of numbers anyway. We're going to be able to deal with them, but essentially, if you don't have any defense, then you get crushed. If you have some defense, then you're fine. Okay, our mega shipyard is now coming online. We'll probably not be able to use this all that much just because we don't have the resources to keep this thing going, but it does give a passive bonus to all of our shipyards once it's built. There we are, plus 33%. It's going to be a while until I can afford to upgrade it again. I've basically sacrificed a lot of ships to build this. Oh, hello! That was faster than I was hoping for. Please, please, please be in a good position. Yes, okay, that is... Could be better. It could... Oh, I really wish this was my empire. I could probably block them off, but they're going to spread. But the thing is, there's a wormhole, which seems to go to your territory. Oh, that is even better. Okay, that's actually a perfectly fine position then. Yeah, so like I was saying before, really the best two positions I could have had is either here, sorry, is either over here or somewhere really close by that we could attempt to assassinate them with, but obviously I wasn't ready for the assassination thing, so far away is good. Thank you, game. Thank you. So I've just found out something really annoying to do with our megastructures, and I can't build, let me just stop that so I have the influence back, I can't build a habitat anywhere here except for... That counts as a world? Okay, I can put one there, that's good. But I can't put one here, 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 or here. You might be asking yourself, why not? They're perfectly normal worlds. Look, they're there, but no, you can't build them. And it says it's because of an existing megastructure. And I was looking around for the last 10 minutes trying to figure out what that means, considering you can still build habitats in a system with a science nexus. Then I moved over here, and the same was being said again. It turns out this is where I had the habitats when the end of the cycle went off. I can't build where the habitats used to be. Even if the world is still normal, I can't build a habitat above there because it's counting it as having the habitat. That's the only explanation, because once we get all the way back to Asgard, which is the last system which I hadn't fully built habitats in, as you can see, there's a few worlds which will still allow it, but then worlds which will not. And that is that. Good to know that there is one there, so I am going to go ahead and build that there then. Or shall I just super reinforce Asgard? No, I want to see how the fortress worlds play out, so I'd rather have an early warning. So essentially, how I think this is going to work, and I'm hoping it works like this, is that the habitats themselves, once they are completely fortified with loads and loads of strongholds, will act as an FTL inhibitor. I'm now converting this one. I think it actually has to be the fortress, it's the level up. Anyway, the point is, it'll act as an FTL inhibitor, and it will have a decently strong garrison. We'll keep on upping the garrison strength, putting armies there, so it's so powerful, the Scourge can't just break it with their ground forces. Because I don't think the Scourge can bombard. And even if they can, it'll act as a slowdown. Now, the one problem I'm thinking is that... Oh yeah, we had no chance against this. Those could not be the scouting forces. They're 1 million each! Okay, here's hoping this works then. Now, how the inhibitors work is once the habitat takes 50% devastation, the FTL inhibitors will turn off. So I'm really, 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 really hoping they can't bombard, and I'm going to have to watch them. If they can't bombard, we have a chance because we can just keep them at bay for a very long time. And that's it. Another reason to have the point defense. They do have missiles. I actually completely forgot about the missiles. I was thinking about the normal attacks they have.
Colonization in progress.
Of course they bombard the planet. I don't know why I didn't think they did. It's slow. It's a very slow bombardment, but it is bombardment, so, the only way around it is if we have loads and loads of habitats in one system, because if they go away from bombarding one habitat, it will very quickly repair itself in devastation and in ground forces. They still need to land the army there to actually take it over.
Technology secured.
Yeah, so building there is just pointless. Having just one is not going to be good enough. Jump over here. Good, a second wave. That's what I wanted to see. So here we can have 4.
Construction complete.
Have quite a few there already. Here's our core, really. So if we can just get a few systems just completely saturated with them, we might be okay. So, I just took a look at the enemy and, oh, well, this is the first time seeing the Scourge in this difficulty. Yeah, those are numbers. Those are numbers. Just, you know, casual 3.6 mil, 2.9. There's a 3.6, some ground forces, you know, the usual, a 1.2, a 3.6 again. These are just 2 systems, by the way. There are plenty others. I have not seen the Scourging times 25. That is just horrific. Queen Angry One. Is that really its name?
Technology secured.
Well. I don't know how we're meant to deal with this. I honestly don't. I mean, obviously spamming down the fortress habitats can slow them down, but we need to start building up our economy, building up our tech and everything again. Oh, have I messed up with the colony ships? Yes, I have, because I've been upgrading the Federation fleet. There's the colony ships mixed in near the end. Yeah, I've just made you into a shipyard, so all future colonies at least will be okay. Yeah, we need to just keep on building federations, keep on building habitats around here, and just try our best to build up everything. We could try and move over here, but with all the gateways and such, it's not that much of a safe thing to do, but it might be for the best. I think this whole section here, this whole kind of U-turn, is going to be completely dedicated to fortresses. Also, we need to scout those wormholes already. We need to know where they go. I mean, it's pretty obvious just based on where, for instance, this empire is. So that'll go to that one there. So bear in mind then, once Scourge reach here, they're going to start flooding through here. So yeah, this section here just needs to be fortresses, including the capital then. Oh yeah, this is, DoLaugh.exe has stopped working. The Scourge is spreading at a rate I have never seen before. They are obliterating everything, and honestly, they're not that far away from our territory. I'm actually moving populations into the habitats. The first one is now almost at 3,000 garrisons, so it is definitely able to hold off at least one of their ground force groups. In fact, it can really hold them off. The problem is they have lots. Yeah. And they seem very happy bombarding planets until they attack. Then they eat everything. You know, as you do. So glad the rare resources are worth so much. They've been keeping me in a lot of energy. Trying to balance between building habitats over here to defend everything and building habitats over here so that we can actually get, you know, resources. Stop being so brutally efficient for 5 seconds, please. Oh yeah, I forgot I can talk to you because I'm psychic. So in case anyone would like to read this, feel free to pause the video. Not a good time there, lads. Very angry rogue servitors have just been generated over in our allies' territory. Oh my god, look at that. The whole section already has been obliterated. Really hoping these fortresses hold. If they do, we are building a lot of habitats, which means loads more population. We should soon have a population explosion, which means loads more jobs, loads more alloys, loads more research. But right now, oh, right now, even with the bonuses we're getting, actually, yeah, 50% plus the 25% from our Federation, I think we'd be able to destroy one of their small fleets. Like this. But not that. Oh dear. We have lost the Science Nexus.
Technology secured.
And the Swarm is now chilling here. They are basically in our territory now, and they are about to hit the wormhole there, leading them to here. So all of the habitats in the capital system are now being converted into fortresses. All of the habitats here are going to be fortresses, and obviously all the habitats in Asgard are fortresses. Getting past here is going to be difficult, not impossible, but a serious, serious problem for them. I don't know how to fortify everywhere else, because honestly it starts to just split up too much. I think for now, just keep on focusing on building more regular habitats over here. We won't be getting much out of them for a number of years, but when we do, we're going to have a serious population explosion and resource explosion. We just need to hold out. A lot of time is passing with me just trying desperately to build as many habitats as possible. Also, the Empires are constantly grabbing back systems, which is kind of funny, so... yeah, how strong are the stations? Okay, only 183k, that's not that strong. God, that's a lot of health, though. Missiles, swarm, so really they can use their medium-range weapons. Yeah, our battleships would just obliterate these. Gooey, aren't they? That's good to know. We can push them back if they start making stations, though right now we're not really in a position to do so. Here's all our fleets. Yeah.
Technology secured.
Against their smaller swarms, well, even these size, we might stand a chance because of our bonuses now and the fact we do hard counter them. But that's about it. On the upside, though, it does mean that somewhat soon, we will have a strong enough force that we can take out fleets like that reliably, which means we can start stationing them around our fortresses. Give ourselves even more time. Okay, I don't know if this is going to be wildly unpopular or not, and I've explained this at the start of the video, but I am going to be cutting this now again. So rather than it be a two-parter, it's going to be a three-parter. I promise this will be the last time I do this, because otherwise it's just going to get way too confusing. I'm even going to rename the first part to part 1 of 3, because, well, this is insane. The amount of hours I've now put into this, because of all the micromanagement and everything, is getting a bit out of hand, and I really want at least this part up before the end of the week. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to go out and edit this, and then come right back to recording it to make sure the next part is out a little bit faster than this part was from the original. At least that's what I'm going to attempt. Bear in mind, these take tens of hours to get the raw footage for, and then hours upon hours to edit down, so they're at least somewhat enjoyable to watch. So please have patience, and I really hope you've been enjoying this, because this is the most nervous I've been for a while with an endgame crisis. It is just devastating everything, and there's so much we need to plan for and do, and I don't want to skip things, and if I continue today, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to scale down the video, and that's just... it's gonna rob this really unique run of a lot of stuff, so I really hope everyone understands. And with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's video, so if you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stellaris is a series you wish to see continued in the future. I will be trying my hardest to get the next part out a little bit earlier, trying to focus a bit less on scrap mechanic and other things. But yeah, this has been utterly insane. And have you seen how many habitats I am now micromanaging? And it's getting more and more extreme with that as well. So, once again, thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Do take. Naturally, a coughing fit. Like I was about to say, thank you for watching. Do take care, and I'll see you next time. The end wasn't all it was cracked up to be. The Scourge? Well, I wasn't scared of them before. I am a little bit now.